Hey everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we have an extremely exciting one, and that's because I just got back from the 2025 Mama Spring Rally, and with me I brought back the 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. Now if you guys haven't seen or checked out the TRD Off-Road Premium video I released just a couple days ago here on the channel, well in that video I mentioned that I was basically road tripping the TRD Off-Road up there to the rally and bringing back the TRD Pro, which I now have in my possession, and I'm really one of the first to get hands-on and really experience the TRD Pro outside of a handful of owners out there, because this vehicle is so new to the market. Not many have arrived to dealerships. I ended up putting about 400 total miles on the TRD Off-Road Premium, and I'm likely going to do the same here with the TRD Pro. So in the course of a week or so, I'm going to be putting nearly 1,000 miles behind the wheel of two different trim levels of the 4Runner. So stay tuned for additional content, both road trip, fuel economy information, the off-roading that I did up at the Mama Rally. All of that is coming. Just bear with me. I have to edit the content all by myself and of course get it uploaded and published for you guys. Now anyways, in today's video, I'm gonna do a quick walk around tour of the 2025 TRD Pro trim level, show you everything that it has to offer. This one has a few additional accessories and options that you won't find as standard on the TRD Pro, but I'm excited that this one does indeed have those, including the built-in onboard air compressor. And of course, the TRD Pro comes standard with the hybrid powertrain, which the TRD Off-Road that I road tripped up there did not have. Show you everything that it has to offer for just over $73,000. So the 4Runner TRD Pro in front of us is fishing the Mudbath exterior with the black and red two-tone synthetic leather on the inside. Now, if you have been paying attention to some recent Toyota news, then you'll know they've already announced the 2026 TRD Pro exclusive color, and that's called Wavemaker. Is a bright teal blue exterior, looks absolutely phenomenal, and will be available on different models of the TRD Pro Lab, including the 2026 4Runner, which will be mostly a carryover to the vehicle as seen in front of us. Now, like I said in the introduction of this video, this one does have a few additional accessories and options, which not only changes the exterior and interior appearance, but also some of the functionality of this vehicle, including the ARB 3/4 roof rack up top with a front air dam to help a little bit with aerodynamics and fuel efficiency. But overall, the TRD Pro is one of the top dogs in the lineup, has all of the nice aggressive TRD bits, including the bulge hood. You have the gloss black fender flares, of course, the different wheel and tire setup, suspension setup. You even have front and rear fascias that are unique to this particular vehicle, and overall this vehicle is certainly going to be, you know, even more capable than that of some of the TRD trim levels of the 4Runner in the past. So starting at the front end, you will find the nicer LED projector headlight setup for the low and high beams. You have the amber daytime running lights and turn signals with the rigid LED fog lights in the outer two light bars, with an additional third light bar in the middle of the grille, which is selectable on the left side of the dashboard. Now you can see that the TRD Pro is actually missing the lower front air dam, which was on the TRD Off-Road Premium that I showcased a couple days ago. So that means this one out of the box is going to be a little bit more capable in terms of the approach angle, ground clearance, things like that. But you can remove that air dam very easily on those other trim levels. You have the optional accessory red recovery points on this particular vehicle, front and rear parking sensors. Of course, your radar for the Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. There's the nice gloss black and gray Toyota spelled out logo in the grille with your 360 camera system. Of course, I mentioned that bulge hood for the TRD Pro. And then taking a look underneath the vehicle, a little bit of dark gray, and then there is going to be the TRD metal skid plate. There are actually several skid plates located underneath the vehicle, but this one helps with the approach. And then there's other components throughout the rest of the vehicle, including the optional rear differential one that this one does have for an additional charge. Now coming around to the side profile of the vehicle, as I mentioned, it does have the nice large gloss black fender cladding, which depending on the trim level that you do get will either be body color, kind of a matte black plastic, or this, you know, gloss black, which is a little bit beefier and chunkier than that of some of the other versions. Now coming to the wheel and tire setup, once again, this is going to be specific to the TRD Pro, and that's going to be a 33-inch diameter all-terrain. This one's actually a Toyo Tire Open Country AT. I believe that's a 3 or a 4 up there. It is going to be a 265/70 18-inch wheel, so kind of a satin black alloy wheel with the red TRD logo center caps. You have the nice bright silver brakes sitting behind them, and then behind all of this is going to be the Fox suspension. You can see you have the TRD upper control arms here and a nice red accented spring. And then the Fox valve reservoir shocks are going to be down there with the 3 manual adjustments for the dampening settings. And this is going to be about an inch higher, I believe, suspension lift versus some of the lower trim levels in this particular vehicle. TRD Pro badging up here on the hood, gloss black mirrors with the LED turns integration. You have cameras, puddle lights, power folding mirrors, blind spot detection as standard, no auto dimming exterior mirrors. However, you have proximity entry on the 2 gloss black front door handles, and there is going to be the optional digital key functionality, which this particular vehicle is optioned with. So if you have that subscription to the connected services, you can use your phone as a key. As I mentioned, ARB roof rack up top. It does have the smaller power sunroof right in front of that. And then, as mentioned in the presentation that we learned about, this vehicle does have the design of some of the past generations of this vehicle with the quarter glass that wraps into the roof area and gives it a nice rounded edge. Visually, I think it looks absolutely stunning. And then coming out back to the TRD Pro, you are going to have the clear LED tail lamps, which are an upgraded version of this light. This one has the gloss black center section to the rear bumper. Rear parking sensors, as I mentioned, you do have the standard trailering package on this particular trim, which can tow up to 6,000 pounds, which is absolutely phenomenal. Full-size spare tire located just behind that. TRD Pro stamped into the actual hatch with the gloss black Toyota up top. Digital rear camera camera right there, backup camera. Power lift gate is going to be a new feature on this vehicle, which is cool. And of course, your lock, unlock buttons, as well as your power rear lift gate window controls are going to be on the right side of the hatch right there. Let me know what you guys think of the TRD Pro in the Mudbath exterior down in the comment section below. Looks phenomenal. I took this exact vehicle off-road, had an absolute blast with it, and I can't wait to share some of that footage with you guys in the coming days. But anyways, let's go take a quick look at the window sticker so you guys know exactly how this one is equipped before jumping onto the interior. So taking a look at the window sticker, the TRD Pro gets a lot of the comfort and convenience items as standard, in addition to the hybrid powertrain, the Fox internal bypass shocks with 3 manual adjustments on the bottom, a lot of the off-road goodies, and the larger infotainment system with the premium audio. Now this one does have a few additional accessories and options, including the digital key, rear LED tailgate light, the onboard compressor, and the ARB roof rack, additional skid plates, and towing accessories, which brings the total MSRP, including destination, to $73,568. So take a look on the interior. Like I said, this one has the black red two-tone TRD specific leatherette on the inside, which does have a few additional premium materials that will not be found on the TRD off-road, for example, that I did just showcase. So starting out here on the door panel, you're gonna find some more soft touch points, including this leatherette upper section, this leatherette back section, and then the same leatherette here on the armrest, all with the red accent stitching, as you can see. Power windows, mirrors, and locks with power folding mirrors, 2-position memory driver seat, and then you do find a lot of additional storage. JBL Flex 14-speaker audio system, just over 1,200 total watts of power, which sounds very good. TRD Pro branding, and there's a little LED puddle light for additional illumination. Now coming here to the driver's seat, this is going to be the same as the TRD Off-Road Premium, including a fully power driver and front passenger seat with 4-way power lumbar. And there's going to be these seats themselves with perforations in the middle, red accent stitching, a unique pattern in those perforations. No TRD branding here on the headrest or the backrest, but I have to say, after using both trim levels of seats, I think these are the slightly more comfortable out of the two, at least from what I experienced. And there's a look at the mostly same dashboard with a few key changes. So here in the interior of the TRD Pro, this is going to be largely similar to that of the TRD Off-Road Premium package that I showcased in terms of features, options, and hardware, but we'll have aesthetic and some functional changes, which we'll touch on in all 3 rows, or I should say all 2 rows, plus the cargo area in which this vehicle is equipped. So in front of the driver, you're going to find a fully digital 12.3-inch cluster that is going to be controlled here on both the left and right hand side of the steering wheel. Now, of course, like all the other digital gauge clusters from Toyota, you have 3 pages you can configure and control within the actual cluster. And I do have a dedicated video going through this gauge cluster in a little bit more detail in some other Toyota products. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, this is going to be the TRD Pro specific steering wheel with a red accent leather in the middle. And then you have the leather perforations around the exterior with the TRD branding at the very bottom. Now, it does have the audio multimedia on the left side, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, adaptive cruise control, lane tracing assist, some other audio multimedia on the right side, automatic headlights with fog lights on the left, Unfortunately, this one does not have rain sense wipers, but if you get a platinum trim, I believe it does come on that vehicle. And then to the left of the steering wheel, this is where some of those changes do occur for TRD Pro in select configurations. So you have the manual LED leveling system, gauge dimming, fuel cap release, automatic high beams on off, traction control on off, 120 volt on off, which is up to 2.4 kilowatts or 2400 watts of power in all hybrid 4Runners, power liftgate, 4 pre-wired auxiliary buttons, which is awesome to see that. Door illumination on off, and then there's going to be the button for the TRD specific light bar in the middle of the front fascia, and that will be only enabled and disabled depending on how you have the headlights on or fog lights, things like that, for regulations. And then it does have a power tilt telescopic steering wheel, just like that of the TRD Off-Road Premium. Now coming across the dash, this is going to be mostly hard touch, but you do have the JBL premium audio system with the flex speaker, which can be removed up here on the dash, of course connected via Bluetooth straight to your phone. Coming back to the infotainment system, this is going to be the larger 14-inch screen available on the 4Runner lineup. You either get an 8-inch or a 14-inch screen, depending on the trim level and whether or not the larger system is standard. Wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, Sirius XM, AM, FM, USB, Bluetooth inputs. Change all that stuff in the vehicle settings, and I do have, again, additional content going over Toyota's new UI in a little bit more detail. But overall, I think it's pretty easy to use, and I haven't had any connectivity issues in the TRD Pro, but did have a couple small hiccups in the TRD Off-Road. Again, you have the red TRD start-stop button over there to the left, some large physical dials and controls with 2 AC vents here at the bottom, integrated trailer brake controller snuck over here to the left side, dual zone automatic climate control instead of the single zone in the TRD Off-Road that I mentioned. Heated ventilated front seats are still here, heated steering wheel. All of these are very straightforward, easy to use. Wireless charger pad in front of the gear shift in a vertical orientation. High power USB-C charge ports. You can see they're 45 watts each or combined 52.5. Nice chunky gear shift with TRD branding to match the steering wheel and the interior accents. Electronic parking brake with automatic vehicle hold. Park time 2-speed transfer case. So you have 2 high, 4 high, 4 low. Multi-terrain select, crawl control, tow haul mode, and regular drive mode selection. In terms of drive modes in this vehicle, you have 3: Sport, Normal, and Eco. And if you go over to the MTS mode, which is only enabled in the 4-wheel drive, does have additional traction management systems, which I did test on the off-road course. So make sure you check that video out if you guys are curious. Trailer backup assist, 360 cameras are found on this particular one with the dedicated off-road views, which is very cool to see. Electronically manual selectable rear locker and a front sway bar disconnect, which is on other trim levels as an additional option and gives you up to 10% more wheel articulation and overall chassis flex, which keeps the tires in contact and provides more traction on those adverse conditions. 2 large cup holders, nice padded center armrest. Inside you have a little bit of additional storage, but honestly it's pretty shallow in there. And then coming up top, you have a black headliner, microphones, LED Vandy illumination. Does have the digital camera mirror with garage home link on the bottom. This is available in those other trims also. Sunglasses holder, LED overhead illumination, power sunroof, SOS, and a rear power liftgate window, which, like I said, is one of my favorite features on select Toyota vehicles, which you can roll that up and down with a push of a button. So take a look at the second row of the 4Runner. Most of the materials are going to fall through from the front, which is always nice to see. So starting out here on the door panel, all of this is going to be the soft premium materials, just with a little bit of accent stitching missing at the top, a little bit of storage, a cup holder, and there's going to be the second row bench seats with the red accent and same padded perforations as the front. Of course, you have the grab handle. Stepping inside is very easy given the door opening and that grab handle. And taking a look at the front dashboard, you can see the nice red Toyota branding on the passenger side. Out back, we'll find 2 AC vents, 2 USB-C charge ports, and the 120 volt outlet with 2.4 kilowatts of power, as I mentioned. So basically a full 20 amp circuit in this vehicle, which can power a ton of stuff. And I did showcase that in the Land Cruiser I had. 2 mat pockets on both of the front seats, center armrest, 2 more cup holders, overhead LED lighting, microphone. And as I mentioned, this is my actual driving position. You can see I have about, I don't know, 2 to 3 inches of legroom. Footroom is a little bit on the tighter side with the seat all the way down, and headroom is really not bad with like inch and a half of headroom. And I really wouldn't mind spending a little bit of time in the back seat. I think they made this about 2 inches larger than that of the outgoing generation. And I think you can certainly feel it back here. And this does have a stage seating effect, which means you are sitting up a little bit higher than the front seats, which helps with, I think, leg and thigh support. And there is a tumble fold function as well as a recline function on the seats. So additional cargo capacity and overall passenger comfort. And taking a look at the rear cargo area behind the seats, of course, as I mentioned, this does come with a newly available power liftgate that's never been before available on any 4Runner. And then this one does have the hybrid powertrain as well as the built-in air compressor, which we'll touch on in a second. But the high voltage battery system, 1.87 kilowatt hours of capacity, does sit below the cargo floor here. So it raises it up, gives you a little bit less storage than that one that I was touching on, but there is going to be a little hidden compartment right here. Looks like you have some of the roadside toolkit and first aid kits in this one. LED lighting is standard, but this one has the optional D-pillar lights, which the other one did have as well for additional illumination. And there's even LED lights up here on the tailgate for even more. You have some of your 12-volt batteries located back here. The third row that is available in select configurations of the gas model does have the same plastic provisions and things like that, which carry over to all these. So you have additional storage up there, JBL subwoofer, and this is going to be the built-in air compressor, which does come with an actual air compressor, I guess, hose, if you will, to reach all 4 tires of the vehicle. And had I known I had this the other day, I would have used it and tested it out, but I will still showcase it because it's a very cool feature to have. But anyways, I needed to actually correct the air pressure that were in the tires. But there's a look at the air compressor. This is the nozzle. It has 12-volt power as well as 2 USB-C ports for additional charging back here. And then you have another 120-volt outlet right there. So you have 2 total outlets. Actually, just press it, hit the start stop, and then there is going to be, you can set your actual PSI that you want. There's different presets that you can go for road, but overall a lot of features back here. More speakers up there on the tailgate, and as I mentioned, that window goes up and down if you want a little bit of additional airflow. Coming to the passenger side, front seat, of course, all the materials are going to be the same over here, and you do have all the same power adjustments, which is awesome to see. There's a look at the dashboard, which does have the red Toyota spelled out, carbon fiber accent, even a padded soft touch glove box, which is awesome, with additional storage inside, USB port on the side of the infotainment system for cameras or additional accessories. And that is pretty much going to be a look here at the TRD Pro interior. Let's go and pop the hood and see what powers this particular vehicle before wrapping this video up. So under the hood, you're going to find a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder hybrid paired to a single electric motor between the engine and the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now combined, this puts out 326 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque through the rear wheels only, or all 4 wheels if you select the 4-wheel drive and the part-time 2-speed transfer case. And I have to say, this is a significant improvement over not only the outgoing 4Runner's 4-liter naturally aspirated V6, but also just the base 2.4-liter turbo engine by itself without the hybrid or electrified power. This, is a very quick, easy accelerating vehicle. I would say pretty much effortless, and it's certainly going to be the one I would choose over the base engine or the base powertrain, and should net you just a hair better fuel economy. But I think the main benefits are going to be the engine stop-start system's much more smooth, and is going to be, just a much more powerful powertrain. So that's going to do it here for this quick walk-around tour of the 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro in one of its most capable trim levels. And like I said, stay tuned here on the channel for additional videos and content coming over the next week or so. As I sift through it, I've done road trip, fuel economy tests, off-road capability tests, of course, day-to-day, likes, dislikes, all of that is coming on both the TRD Off-Road Premium and this TRD Pro, which I am extremely excited to share with you guys. I think I have one of the most well-rounded opinions, at least in the media community, of this new 4Runner, outside of those people that might actually already own this vehicle and have it in their possession, and who knows, may have taken it off-road or done road trips with it, anything like that. So very exciting times here on the channel with the Toyota 4Runner, and I think overall, despite this vehicle coming in at over $73,000, I think there's a lot of positive to this vehicle. It's certainly more capable than the outgoing one, has more convenience tech, feature set. Toyota Safety Sense went from one of the most basic systems now to their 3.0, which is one of the more later systems. Of course, the interior's a little bit nicer here on the Pro versus the off-road. Some people would argue it's not worth that $70,000+ price point, and maybe I might generally agree with that, but I think there's a lot more to this vehicle than that of just the interior. I like the physical buttons and knobs. I like the off-road hardware. The technology works great. I think, like I said, for the most part, it's very positive. So stay tuned here on the channel for more content coming. I'm going to give huge thanks to Toyota for sending both of the two 4Runners out for me to test and review. And of course, you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.